Hello, second grade. We are in Rome today. Do you see this? It's St. Peter's Basilica. So, because we're in Rome, we are going to go and listen a little bit more about what is happening in Rome right now. Last week, we heard that Hannibal and his army came in and attacked the city of Rome and was burning all of the cities. And he's coming. He's coming from the mountains in the Alps, and he's coming down to Rome. So we don't know what's going to happen to Rome, but let's figure it out. All we know is that Rome has sent an army up to fight Hannibal, but the army is losing. Remember, we heard about these two, a little boy and a little girl, and their father. We heard about their father who was fighting up in the Alps, the mountains, right? And he said it was terrible. Everyone was dying. So what we're going to do now is we're going to learn a little bit more about what is happening. So give me 1 second. We are getting this ready. So if you want to go ahead and take out your coloring sheet for today, you have two options. You have two soldiers. You can color both of them if you finish, but you don't have to do all of them, okay? There's just only a couple that you have to do. So please go ahead and take out that piece of paper right now while we are getting this ready, okay? Let's see, where did we leave off? Okay, let's begin.
The end of Hannibal. For some time, things looked very bad for Rome. Some thought about surrendering, as it seemed like the Republic was about to fall. But instead of attacking Rome, Hannibal dallied around trying to get more help from Carthage. He also tried to convince Rome's allies to desert it. Then one Roman general and consul named Cornelius Scipio had an idea. He took a Roman army and sailed to Africa with plans to attack Carthage itself. The Carthaginians ordered Hannibal to return to Africa to protect Carthage. Hannibal reluctantly gathered the remainder of his army and left Italy, never to return. Cornelius Scipio and Hannibal battled each other at a place called Zama outside Carthage in 202 BC. Scipio defeated Hannibal's army, and the Carthaginians surrendered. Hannibal fled into exile, but the Romans pursued him. Hannibal eventually killed himself rather than be captured by the Romans. Scipio was given the nickname Africanus for his victory.
Okay. Wow, what happened? Okay, you continue coloring. You don't have to look up at the screen. You can continue coloring, okay? But I'm just gonna explain what happened a little bit. So this is what's happening. So Hannibal is coming down and is gonna attack Rome. But before it gets to Rome, before it gets to this city, what he decides to do is to try to convince all of Rome's friends to not help Rome at all. He was telling all of his friends, don't help Rome, don't help Rome. Come on my side and we can fight Rome and defeat it, right? And so it said that Hannibal was trying to convince his allies. That word ally means friend, means a partner. It means that if someone fights against Rome, all of his friends are going to join and fight with Rome against the other person. So that's what an ally is. An ally is someone who joins a group. So let's say this is Rome, joins a group and fights with them and does not back down. So this is what's happening. Hannibal is coming down to Rome, But before he comes down to Rome, he is trying to convince all of Rome's allies, all of its friends, to fight with Hannibal and to forget about Rome, to join Hannibal and to fight against Rome. But guess what happens? There is this man, and his nickname is Africanus. Can you say that with me? Africanus. Good. And his name, it's kind of funny actually. It's Cornelius. Can you say that with me? Cornelius Scipio. It kind of sounds like hippo, doesn't it? So this man, his name is Cornelius Scipio, but his nickname is Africanus. So Cornelius Scipio and Africanus are the same person, right? It's just his nickname. So Cornelius Scipio, he's a Roman. He has an idea and he says, let me try. Let me try and help Rome. And Rome says, okay, we're going to lose. So what do we have? What do we have to lose, right? So they let Cornelius Scipio go and fight against Hannibal. And do you know what Cornelius Scipio does? I told you in the video. Cornelius Scipio sends a huge Roman army to Carthage. So let's look at our map. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead. Okay, now you can see, and we're going over here. So, okay, so this is what's happening. Hannibal is over here, okay? And he's coming down to Rome, and he's trying to convince all of Rome's friends to go against Rome. And then this man named Cornelius Scipio says, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to send a Roman army over here. I'm going to send a Roman army over here. So he sends it from Rome to Carthage. And he says, you know what? If Hannibal, who's over here, wants to attack us, we're going to attack them first. But we're not going to attack over here. We're going to attack in their homeland. So Rome sends this huge army to Carthage, right? Because that's where it was, the Greeks. And he sends a huge army to Carthage. And what happens, give me 1 second, I'm sorry, boys and girls. And what happens is that the Carthaginians are so afraid. They're so afraid because where is all of their military? Over here. So nobody is protecting them in Carthage. So they're so afraid because Rome is now on their way. And so what do the Carthaginians tell Hannibal? They say, come back now with our army because we are going to be destroyed if you don't come back. So guess what? Guess what? Guess what happens? Hannibal comes back. He comes back to Carthage with all the army. And Rome is saved. And nobody attacks Rome. Because Rome went to Carthage to try to destroy it. And Hannibal is so embarrassed because he said that he was going to destroy Rome, and he didn't. He's so embarrassed that he leaves. He goes to exile. Exile is a fancy word that just means he leaves his home. He leaves and he's in a foreign land, a land where nobody knows him. And he leaves. And he's so embarrassed that he actually does not want to die because the Romans are going to go after him because they're not done. They're going to go after Hannibal and they're going to try to kill Hannibal because he tried to destroy Rome. So Hannibal leaves and Hannibal decides, which is terrible, 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 decides to kill himself. instead of having the Romans capture him and kill him. So that's where we're at. It's a lot going on. We're going to listen to one more video and then we'll continue. And then we'll be done. I'm so sorry. So continue coloring. Let me pull up the video for you. Here we go.
Rome's revenge. The Romans were very angry at Carthage and were determined that it should never again threaten them. They forced Carthage to pay them a very large amount of gold, took away almost all their territories, and forbade them from making war or having a navy. These terms were humiliating for Carthage, but they had no choice except to obey the Romans. Meanwhile, the Romans took over all the former Carthaginian lands in Spain. In the east, the Roman armies were marching into Macedonia and Greece. Rome seemed unstoppable. Now more powerful than ever, the Roman Senate wanted Carthage done away with for good. One senator, named Cato, made many speeches arguing that Carthage must be destroyed. In 149 BC, Rome declared war on Carthage for violating the rules Rome imposed on it. Carthage had fought a war with a neighboring kingdom without Rome's permission. Rome raised an army and invaded Africa. The Roman army was led by Scipio Aemilianus, the grandson of Scipio Africanus. The Carthaginians fought bravely, but their city was conquered in 146 BC. The Romans burned Carthage to the ground and sold its people into slavery. Scipio Aemilianus took away all the Carthaginian lands in Africa and claimed them for Rome. Rome had fought 3 wars with Carthage and had come out victorious. By 146 BC, Rome controlled all of Italy, Sicily, Spain, northern Africa, several cities on the southern coast of Gaul in modern-day France, Macedonia, and Greece. The little city-state founded by Romulus was now an empire. In the east, the old Hellenistic kingdoms left over from the days of Alexander the Great were still standing, but the Romans had a taste for conquest, and it would not be long before these too fell to the unstoppable might of Rome.
So you heard it there. So after the war ended with Carthage, with Hannibal, something happened. Rome was not happy. Not happy at all. They said, how dare you try to destroy Rome? So they decided to make a deal with Carthage because Carthage lost. So they kind of had to do whatever Rome said. So this is what Rome told Carthage. This is what they told them. You need to give us all of your money. 1. 2, you cannot have an army or a navy at all. So how are they going to protect themselves? No army, no navy. All of their money has to be given to Rome and all of their land. And Carthage cannot get in any war with anybody unless it tells Rome. So, remember we heard about Cornelius Scipio, the Africanus? He sent the army to Carthage and then that's how they won. Yeah? Okay, so Cornelius Scipio had a grandson. And his grandson was the one that started another war with Carthage. Again, my goodness, poor Carthage. Well, this time Carthage got in a war with one of the towns next to it. And remember, they weren't allowed to get in any war unless they asked Rome for permission. Well, they didn't ask Rome for permission. So what happened is that Cornelius Scipio, his grandson, took the army and went to Carthage. And the Senate was not happy with because they broke the rules. They broke their deal. And so the Senate said, you know what? We're going to destroy Carthage. It was so sad. So, so sad. Rome went to Carthage and burned everything. Everything was burnt. They took all of the people and made them slaves. Made them slaves. And they burned everything to the ground. Nothing was there after Rome left. And they were so upset. And so that's where we're going to leave off today. I want you to think about this. Rome right now is one of the most powerful places in the Mediterranean Sea. It's one of the most powerful. But I want you to think about this. If you were Rome, would you do anything to be that powerful? Is that good? Did they do something good? Were they virtuous? Because right now, it seems like Rome is going to do whatever it needs to do to be the most powerful. And is that good? What about God's law? Do you think Rome is being greedy? That's the vice that we're learning about, right? Greed. Greed is when you don't share and you take everything. And you don't care about anything. You just take because you say, it's mine and I want it. So, is Rome doing a good thing by conquering everything? Are they being virtuous? Are they being kind to the people around them? Are they being kind to the people that they conquer? So I want you to think about that. Do you think Rome, the Romans, are good people? Are they virtuous? Do you think God would be proud? So I want you to think about that, and I will talk to you about that when I meet with you this week, okay? So think about that. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Continue coloring if you haven't finished, and I will see you tomorrow. Totus Tuus, Maria.